Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on the things happening in Nigeria. As we know, the protest has entered day 5, and of course, reactions are coming from different states. Therein, we have in Kaduna State and Kanu State where flags of different countries, especially Russian flag, is being displayed by the youths. Well, does this tell us that there is international interference? Well, we're going to talk about that. And again, on Tinubu's speech, His Excellency P2B has responded to the belated speech of Chief Bola Tinubu, calling it that Tinubu is far away from the harsh realities on ground of facing Nigerians on each day. And of course, the noble Rolet Soyinka has retracted his tapes to also voice his discontent from what Chief Bola Tinubu gave as a speech yesterday, which of course, when we viewed it very well, we found that it looks like a voiced over, or rather a recorded speech for Nigerians. With me to have these discussions today, I have Mercy in the studio and of course other Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians on Zoom virtually to interact with us on this very hour.
Good evening, well-meaning Nigerians. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you wherever you are. If you're a well-meaning Nigerian, we expect you to like and share the video to tell others that Obidient Family TV is live, to have discussions on what is happening in Nigeria, especially as Tinubu's speech failed to address any of the issues as fronted by the protesters, especially as this very protest has entered day 5. The expectation by now is that this very protest would have subsided, but peaceful protest is starting from the 1st and up to 10. Then for the people who are said to be hijacking this protest through government and other entities, we are still monitoring things. And I want to bring to the attention of Nigerians of the fact that one of the organizers or the mobilizers of this very protest was abducted by DSS early this morning in his house in Abuja. The people that gave this very particular thing yesterday gave their own speech and told Nigerians how they felt about the Chief Bola Tinubu speech, not dealing with the issues that they presented. Why they went to his house to read it and get him arrested for having a peaceful protest and having a peaceful broadcast without talking bad about Chief Bola Tinubu. That is what Nigerians will face. I think it should be requested that the DSS release forthwith the young man who is just a Nigerian exercising his constitutional rights. And we also, before we get to His Excellency's speech, let's also get what the noble Rolet Soyinka, who criticized Bola Tinubu's speech to the nation regarding the ongoing protest. Soyinka expressed disappointment in Tinubu's response to the protest, particularly the use of live bullets and tear gas against the peaceful protesters. He argued that the approach only leads to more resentment and violence. Soyinka highlighted the need for alternative, more civilized methods of handling protests, citing the examples of 2022-2023 Yellow Vest movement in France, where security forces did not use guns against innocent protesters. He emphasized that Nigeria should learn from its own history and break the cycle of lethal responses to civic unrest. Soyinka criticized Chief Bola Tinubu's response to protests as inadequate and aggressive. He condemned the use of live bullets, tear gas against peaceful protesters. He advocated for more civilized methods of handling protests, citing that very French example. And of course, let's get this very topic started. Before we get to what Soyinka said, let's even look at what His Excellency P2B said about the belated speech. He said the fact that Chief Bola Tinubu is disconnected with the harsh realities facing Nigerians?
Oh God, a lot is actually happening, to be honest. Yeah, I really, really commend Soyinka, the writer, for what he said actually. Because for him to come out and actually tell the government that it's actually very wrong for them to use stray bullets, tear gas on the peaceful protesters. I really, really commend him for that.
Yesterday, that recorded speech given by Chief Bola Tinubu has so many lies on it, actually.
Of course.
And these very lies, there is somebody who articulated this very at least a minimum of 6 lies that were told to Nigerians on a national broadcast. Let's even, to continue, let's take a listen to these very lies. And of course, you can go to the comment section and tell us how you feel about this, whether these lies are concurrent with the happenings in Nigeria. Let's take a listen.
Addressed on August 4, 2024 with receipts. He actually told a lot of lies, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm limiting to just 6 important lies. First of all, as you know, it was a recorded speech. It wasn't live. In fact, the script even leaked 5 hours or even more before he started his broadcast. Yes, leaders around the world deliver recorded broadcasts, but the recorded broadcast is not what we need at the moment. Yeah. We needed live interactive section so that he'll be asked questions, so that he won't lie and get away with it. So he recorded it and played on NTA with a lot of lies, and he thinks he's gotten away with it. No, I'm about to expose those lies. Lie number 1, I'm especially pained by the loss of lives in Borno, Jigawa, Kanu, Kaduna, and other states. No, you're not pained anything, because you were given more than 1 month. You were given notice. And if you didn't want the loss of life and everything, you could have done something, but you didn't. And you waited for people to die before you come to address. That's what we call shedding crocodile tears. Line number 2, on the fiscal side, aggregate government revenues have more than doubled, hitting over 9.1 trillion naira in the first half of 2024 compared to the first half of 2023 due to our efforts at blocking leakages. Again, you lied. You're not generating more revenue because you blocked leakages. No, you did not block any leakages. You are generating more revenues because you devalued your naira. Look at what you met the exchange rate. And look at what the exchange rate is now. So just to do simple mathematics, Tinubu, convert that your 9.1 trillion naira you're generating now, convert it to dollar, then convert the previous revenue generation by the previous government. At the same time, convert it to dollar. You will see that you are generating less. In fact, it's just like those of you who are doing business. You will notice that these days, something used to sell for like 1,000 naira before. You sell it probably 2,000 naira now. But you notice that you were making more profit when you were selling it 1,000 naira than now that you're selling it 2,000 naira. Line number 3. This has given us more financial freedom and room to spend more on you, our citizens, to fund essential services like education and healthcare. Again, another lie. You're not spending on us. To start with, look at what you budgeted for VP residence, residence of 1 man. And look at what you budgeted for education, student loan, and also look at what you budgeted for your yacht. In fact, it was because we started shouting that you later came out and said, okay, you have increased student loan to 60 billion. And that's just on paper. I don't trust government circulars. Line number 4. It has also led to our state and local governments receiving the highest allocations ever in our country's history from federal accounts. Again, another lie. You devalue the naira. Let's look at this report. Essentially, the state government allocation under Tinubu's first year rose by 53% to 4.54 trillion naira compared to the 2.95 trillion naira disbursed in the preceding period under Buhari. For the local governments, the revenue disbursed under Tinubu rose by 76% or 1.38 trillion naira to 3.84 trillion naira from the 2.18 trillion naira shared under Buhari. And again, another simple mathematics, convert this to allocation, convert it to dollar, and then convert the ones that were getting under Buhari to dollar. You see that they are still getting less. Just like what you're saying about the new minimum wage. You see, any money you're earning now, you need to multiply it by at least 3. That is the way to get the value you were earning before you talk about increment. So if it's rising by 76%, not even up to 100%, It is not an increment. Line number 5. Investors are coming back. We have already seen 2 foreign direct investments signed over $500 million since then. Again, another lie. Investors are not coming back. In fact, they are actually leaving. Take a look at those who have left since Tinubu came to power. And then the only investment that I've talked about is the ones that were denied. For instance, they said Maersk, a shipping company, agreed to invest $600 million in Nigerian economy, but they came out to deny it. Also, this one is from his aide, posting that a Brazilian entity has pledged $240 million to establish a generic manufacturing plant in Nigeria. A Brazilian entity, an entity that does not have a name. Imagine you attracting a foreign investor and the investor doesn't have a name. Another lie. Lie number 6. In the past 14 months, our government has made significant strides in rebuilding the foundation of our economy to carry us into a future of plenty abundance. Again, another lie. This was Tinubu's vice president 12 months ago, saying that in the next 9 to 12 months, there will be a swift change in our fortunes in Nigeria. I'm talking with all sense of clarity and responsibility. 12 months after, things have gotten worse. So if you like, give Tinubu 100 years. He's not going to change anything. He is not going to change anything. Nigerians, wising up.
I mean, of course, he was able to articulate 6 lies, but of course, it could get to a dozen lies. Mercy, coming, you know, a lot of people keeps talking about give Tinubu some time. His government is just coming on board, give him some time. But recall that during the time of Buhari, within the first year, he was said to give him more time. It transcends to the second year, to the third year, and even to the fourth year, and they said second tenure might be a better time for him. On a second tenure, the trajectory remains the same. Give him some time, give him to, and finally, 8 years down the line, nothing was done, and Chief Bola Tinubu said he's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. That was the promise he gave, and that is what he has been following. And people still talk about dialogue, and they still talk about giving Tinubu time. So I don't know if they are actually facing the realities on ground, just like His Excellency P2B articulated, which we'll come to just a later on. Let me have your take on that so that we'll quickly go into what His Excellency P2B spoke about, that very speech.
Should the Nigerians give Tinubu some time for them to die in hardship? Do you know that the first news that we got after his inauguration was a bad news that kept Nigerians in the state that they are in now? So give him which time? Which kind of time are we supposed to give Chief Bola Tinubu? Is it the time for things to get better, or is it the time for things to get more worse so that the citizens will die out of hunger, starvation, hardship, and everything that you can think about?
You know, my expectation yesterday when they said 7 a.m. is going, of course, I was even thinking that what was in circulation as a result, that the speech that was in circulation was a fake speech, and that's why I didn't even look at it much, but not knowing that it's actually what he intends to tell Nigerians. But that very speech, my expectation is to say, wow, okay, this very subsidy that happens to be the issue, if you guys want it back just like Jonathan did, so be it, you know, so that at least one of the cardinal requests of the protest will be dealt with, but he did not deal with even one. What he keeps doing is repeating the things that they've been talking about since even before the protests erupted.
And even adding more hardship on the citizens. You know, one thing I noticed about this present government is that Chief Bola Tinubu does not have any interest of any citizens in his mind. He does not care about the people that he's ruling. You know, that is it, because right from the day he assumed office, it has been bad news all over. There is nothing to write home about, to be honest. And if I may even ask, is it the right way to address the citizens? By a recorded speech? What happened to him coming out to address the citizens, hearing from the citizens, and addressing their problems, giving solutions?
Well, we know that presidents do record speeches. We just probably not aligned, or we're not, we don't like what he said yesterday. Most Nigerians just analyze it in different ways. But let's quickly take what His Excellency Peter Obi spoke about as his response to to Chief Bola Tinubu's address. He said, him having led the call for the Chief Bola Tinubu to address the nation and respond to the demands of the people, and having listened to the belated speech, Peter Obi said, I needed to delay my response to see if my understanding of the address was aligned with others. I hesitated to respond immediately, as I felt it could have been perceived as another attempt by Peter Obi to sway public opinion, especially since I was initially accused of sponsoring the protest. However, I must begin by thanking Chief Bola Tinubu for finally addressing the people, albeit belatedly, which might have prevented the unnecessary loss of innocent lives, including those of our security agents. While I hope that in consoling the families of those who lost their loved ones in the protest, he would also show some empathy toward those who were injured, arrested, and detained due to the overzealous and unprofessional conduct of some security operatives. This was unfortunately not the case. It is the responsibility of the government to identify criminal elements attempting to disrupt the protest through looting and other unlawful behaviors, and to protect those genuinely exercising their democratic rights. Nigeria must embrace all tenets of democracy, including the right to protest, without selective adherence. I also appreciate his condemnation of the ethnic bigotry being propagated by some individuals against other ethnic groups. However, I had hoped for more decisive action, such as the immediate arrest and prosecution of those responsible, to demonstrate that such tolerance will not be tolerated in today's Nigeria. Chief Bola Tinubu's address regrettably appeared disconnected from the harsh realities faced by the people and failed to address critical issues that initially triggered the protest. It either reflects a lack of awareness among his advisors regarding the scale of anger, hunger, and hardship in the country, or a deliberate choice to disregard it. At this point, I strongly advise Chief Bola Tinubu to distance himself from sycophants and surround himself with individuals who will present the unvarnished truth. While the Chief Bola Tinubu speech focused on the past, the people are concerned with the present and the future of Nigeria. He should begin by addressing pressing issues such as the exorbitant cost of governance, measures to tackle corruption, the high cost of living, and directing resources effectively towards critical areas like health, education, and poverty alleviation. I respectfully reiterate that Chief Bola Tinubu should declare war on insecurity, the economy, poverty, unemployment, and the power sector. Persistent issues of corruption and mismanagement of public funds must be addressed decisively, as is done in other nations during such times. Regular briefings, whether quarterly, biannually, from Chief Bola Tinubu are essential to clearly communicate the visible and verifiable measures being taken to revive the nation from its current state of hopelessness, restore hope, and rebuild trust in our country. I also humbly request that Chief Bola Tinubu reduce the reputation of how dire the situation is. Every Nigerian is already aware of the extent of problems. Chief Bola Tinubu, you and your team were selected not just to witness the protest, but to alleviate the suffering of the people. Nigerians do not expect Chief Bola Tinubu to solve the nation's problems overnight, but we do expect a concerted effort to address the mismanagement of the public resources, reduce the high cost of governance, and tackle issues like insecurity, corruption, electricity, agriculture, and productivity to set the country on a path to recovery and growth. By doing so, Chief Bola Tinubu can restore hope and rekindle the people's faith in our dear country, Nigeria. A new Nigeria is possible. Signed, Peter Obi. Let me quickly join our people on Zoom. Lord Kingsley, you've seen what His Excellency Peter Obi has said, and of course, the reaction of Wole Soyinka, and obviously other Nigerians who has refused to take that very speech as having anything to address the Nigerian issues or the issues plaguing Nigeria currently. What are your thoughts on this very belated speech and the rhetorics thereafter?
Yes, good evening, fellow Nigerians. Good evening, Obedients around the world, everyone on the studio, and my Zoom panelists. I want to firstly appreciate all of us for at least having the courage to come back again today, because, I mean, like, I was trained up in a nuclear family where you have a father that actually takes care of issues, and then he, in his own ability and power, and from advice, he is able to delegate and then see that he sorts the problem in the house. So transcending this now to the nation Nigeria, where we have somebody that actually stole the mandates and now doesn't know what to do with it. Because right from the onset, this presidents that they have in Nigeria right now, we all know, even from the time where we found out about his education, when we found out about things that the FBI was holding and keeping back, we knew there was a problem. We knew we're getting a leader that do not understand or cannot, run with whatever the nation is going to be, coming up with. Now, the protest that has actually emanated since the first is something that has been on the news, that it was going to start on the first. This is now a president that saw the problems coming. This is a president that has advisors, that has paid advisors, not just advisors, paid advisors that will actually be skilled in the way they should be doing things. But for one reason or the other, they all kept quiet. They all kept quiet. They were all tackling how they are going to bring out anti-protesters to protest against fellow Nigerians, to protest against what the Nigerians needed. They succeeded in doing that, but then these guys came out and they found out that, oh, well, what they were doing were wrong, and then they changed their motion. They changed their motion and they started protesting against their sender, against the president himself. The speech this man read, yesterday, to all honesty, I don't know how they wrote that speech. I don't know how the president of a country can actually come out in the midst of all these issues going on right now, out and delivered that speech that was leaked anyway, because I saw that speech online about 7 a.m. I saw it about 4 a.m. and then at 7 o'clock he was reading the same thing, which is something I've never seen before. He came out, read this message, which no relevance, objective. It had no concussions to what was actually happening in the country right now. All he was doing was just blabbing about and what he wishes to do, which was the demands these boys were asking of the fellow Nigerians, asking about. I'm not sure he even knows. They are saying, oh, all they want to do is come and give them a speech, to come and talk to them. What is wrong with you coming out and having a live press conference? What is wrong with it? Instead of just hiding away and then sending a recording to the TV channel, which of course, nothing that was relevant in that speech you made that is of the concern of the citizens that are actually protesting right now. Nothing of concern. But my joy is that yes, there are some people which he calls his close.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Having listened to the speech and of course reading the speech, did you think that Chief Bola
list of demands by the protesters in Nigeria?
By the protesters in Nigeria.
Not a single one. Not a single one. Not a single one. That was where I was going to, because his own close allies now, they are now understanding the person they actually backed. Imagine somebody like Wole Soyinka actually now saying that, I mean, his approach to whatever is happening now is the wrong way. No one has actually come up and said, oh, they back him up on what he said or what he's done, come out to say. None of them. This man has no feelings for that country. He's not concerned about the country. All he's after is Emilio Con. It's my turn. It's my turn to loot. It's my turn to grab the national cake. It's my turn to refill my pockets. That is what he's all after. The interest of Nigerians is not his concern. Nothing in his manifesto, nothing in the protest request that this man addressed and we saw any lies to.
Did you also notice the fact that he did not even call the attention of the security agencies, the people who have been tear gassed, has been shot, and all of that? He didn't even reprimand the security forces to even handle the protest with care.
Absolutely, I'm just taking it step by step, because this is somebody that has no human feelings. I mean, up to date now, I think about 20 or so have been killed. They have been killed for just no reason. They have been killed for nothing, because you had trigger happy officers that just wanted to obey commands. You tell me now, these officers that actually killed these boys, what have they killed them for? Because they are fighting for your rights. They are fighting for something you're going to benefit from. But because you got a gun, you want to finish them off. In what way, apart from say I commiserate with the families, how do you commiserate when you didn't take any action? You've read that statement and gone back to your cocoon, and then that is it. It's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing, because I really never expected anything like this. I was thinking that, okay, after maybe because he missed it at the beginning to address Nigerians, maybe before the first, he missed it, that okay, now that he's coming out on the 4th, that he's going to come out all guns blazing and stop all this nonsense, stop his military, stop his police, stop them all from attacking Nigerians, because he wants peace, like he has always said. He will come out to tell you one thing and go behind do another thing. What kind of human being is this? Who is this that we actually have there? Is he a Nigerian? That is what we should be asking, actually. The electoral reform, what has it done about it? Nothing. The fuel scarcity, what has it done about it? Nothing. Panic, what has it done about it? Nothing. What has it? Nothing. The famine, the hunger that everybody's singing about. What did he do about it? Come there to blab some figures, which of course actually went against him, and everybody's now saying, oh, what kind of human being is this we have in Nigeria? Is he actually a Nigerian? Does he and his family, do they actually understand what is going on in the country? I rest my case for there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, for that. Let me quickly bring your attention. Reverend Pete joining us. Thank you for being with us today again. That has been, I think, the last you were with us before the protest. So, Reverend Pete, Please let me first refresh your attention to the protesters in Abuja who had reacted to Chief Bola Tinubu's broadcast. And of course, they did a press conference which we earlier broadcasted. But let me get you a reminder, just 1 minute of it, so you take and listen to what they say. The young man, one of them was abducted by the DSS earlier this morning. He's a peaceful protester, but has voiced their concern by being in the media to state that the Chief Bola Tinubu's speech was void of any action from what their demands are. Let's take a listen to that, Reverend Pete, and then you can give us your take on it.
Even though there was no protest in the Federal Capital Territory on Sunday, the protesters say they are not discouraged by the threat from the authorities. According to them, President Bola Tinubu failed to address the demands, which include hunger and inflation.
Our major blatant contradiction in this presidential broadcast is the part where he said our democracy progresses when the constitutional right of every Nigerian citizens are respected.
That our demands still stand. Reversal of fuel price to what it was before May 29, 2023. Reversal of electricity hike, tariff hike. Reversal of school fees increments across board. Reversal of all of the taxes that the tax master himself, Tinubu, has introduced. These are our demands, and we are not reneging on.
Protesters promised to reconvene at the front of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium on Monday until their demands are met by the government.
From this protest was addressed by the president, so that our protest continues. And tomorrow is going to be a mass protest on Monday, and we'll be gathered at the National Stadium. And the question that was asked, are we going to go inside the stadium or not? What we said for the very first day is that we are protesters. We are not footballers. We are not athletes, and we don't have the intention to prepare for Olympics yet. So that our protest will converge at the front of the National Stadium.
On the authorities to allow the citizens express their feelings about the current situation in the country and stop the attacks on protesters and journalists covering the demonstration.
So, Reverend Pete, of course, you can hear the protesters in Abuja lamenting about Chief Bola Tinubu's speech having not addressed their demands. And of course, we heard that the last speaker there, the young man who spoke last on that press conference, was arrested by the DSS. And it seems like this government goes after peaceful protesters rather than going after the hoodlums who are actually disrupting the process and also doing all sorts of things. They are not looking for those people who are coming to disrupt protests. They are not looking for those people who are looting across, but rather they seem to be looking for those people who are peacefully protesting to arrest them and to torture them into whatever they think they can do. So, Reverend Pete, what are your take on this belated speech of Chief Bola Tinubu and, of course, the arrest of protesters in Abuja?
For having me. And I want to thank every member of the crew and the Obidient families and every other person that have been on the Zoom in respect of this program. I just want to register something that I think is very, very important. I don't know why everybody is surprised that Tinubu come up the way he come up. I was expecting it, and I waited for that. By the time they said they were going to announce, he's going to address the nation, I was very alert because I want to see what he's going to say differently, because I know that there is nothing that he is going to say differently. And if we look at I want to take us back from the time of the campaign before the election, where is a place where this man was engaged in an interview with the pressmen. No. Why? Because he has nothing to offer. And he told Nigerians that he's going to start from where Boris stopped. And the man is doing it. So I am surprised that everybody is surprised. I am curious because people do not think that he is going to come up like this. Somebody will tell you, I don't have anything to offer. I said this the other time. There was a woman he gave an appointment. And the woman said he rejected the appointment because when they sworn him in, when they sworn in Tinubu, he asked him, what is your blueprint? He said he has none. He said, so how can you govern without blueprint? So that shows that he did not come in with anything at all. Now, the problem is whoever that is standing up against this man or try to point a system where he has failed or a situation where he needs to revise or what he has done wrong, he made that person his own enemy instantly. Look at Gumi. It's a living example. So, and when you look at him, what he said that day, there is nothing that has to do with what the protesters are soliciting for or their adversaries. There is nothing to show. He simply just explain what the ministers and all the cabinet has been saying. He repeated the same thing. So because that is what was written for him, he has no other thing to say, and that is why he has not come up since then to say anything, because he has nothing to say. He doesn't have anything. It's very, very clear and clean. And as regard to, I just want to chip in, I just want to dive to PO's case. For me, I think PO has delayed to speak because it has come to a point where we don't need to wait for anybody. Don't look at anybody because people are looking up to him. In fact, look at what happened in Venezuela. The opposition came out and told the people because they know that Maduro has ruined the election. He manipulated it and he called out the people and the people came out. So that is how because if you are eating with the devil, you need to look for the longest spoon. So it is obvious that Peter just want to His Excellency, he just want to look at what or looking at the eyes of others, or you want to see that they say I do this. He said, I do this. That cited the people. He was the one that is organizing it. So it is very obvious that of all the attraction, because they know that he won the election. And so they want to do everything to destabilize him before 2027. And so when it comes to a matter of speaking out, let it not hold back, because it is obvious that everybody is looking up to him. And Tinubu himself knows that this man is the opponent that he has. So they are doing everything in order to frustrate, to thwart the effort of him. And he must stand where, because the Obidient and the Nigerian youth are standing up for him. And he has to stand up. Look at what the army officer came to say, or the press conference he organized. What kind of nonsense is that? There is no business between the soldier and the civilian. The case that we are having here is a civil case. It's a civilian case. There's nothing concerning army here. In the whole world, there is no place where army is being spokesman or become an intervener when it comes to a matter of protest. This is during a police case. And so coming out to say that they are going to take action and threaten the people, I'm very happy that the protesters have started up. And I am very grateful that no one intimidate to use this medium to say that let no one intimidate you. Go out, stand up, and do everything possible, because this criminality that has been built up in Nigeria needs to be dismantled. Unless we dismantle them, there is no way that we can continue.
Yes, this criminality must be dismantled.
Yes.
From Reverend Pete.
Yes, the criminality must be dismantled. Thank you so much, Reverend Pete, for joining. And of course, we thank El Buba. There's one pastor, El Buba, like yourself, Reverend Pete, from Plateau State, that keeps holding, even yesterday, holding service on protest with his congregation. We want to applaud those people that are out there having a peaceful protest and exercising their constitutional right. Now, we have Tony, who wishes, of course, to have his own say on what happened, on the reactions of Chief Bola Tinubu's address. But Tony, before you come in, let's quickly take some reactions from Nigerians on that Chief Bola Tinubu's address. Let's quickly take that, then we have your reaction, Tony.
Thursday, August 1, 2024 is a day that has been etched in history as one where Nigerians took their destiny in their hands, demanding for better living conditions from the authorities. From Lagos to Abuja, to the southwest, the south and northern states, Nigerians defied all odds and marched through the streets, asking the federal and state governments to reverse its policies and give them a better economy.
My fellow Nigerians, I speak to you today.
4 days after, President Bola Tinubu speaks to the nation in a broadcast, presenting a scorecard on a range of issues like the economy, infrastructure, agriculture, oil and gas. This, however, is unappealing to some Nigerians, as they say the president did not tackle the main issues, such as fuel subsidy removal that is impacting negatively on the well-being of the people.
In his speech, the president referred to CNG kits. Now I ask you, we heard before that our foreign refineries will be back to work. We heard that Dangote refinery has come on stream. So if the four refineries and Dangote refinery which has come on stream, why are we then spending billions on CNG? Now the CNG kits, are we producing in Nigeria? No. We still require scarce foreign exchange to bring in the CNG kits.
They turned on the olive branch for dialogue extended by the president, stating that the protest continues.
Why will anybody want to dialogue with a president that did not even acknowledge that people died? That is not holding the security agencies accountable for people dying. The president has not said, oh, give me 3 weeks, I will meet the demand.
The Arewa group also distanced itself from the photos of the Russian flag being displayed in some parts of the north.
If you watch what is going on now at the social media, some people carrying a flag of Russia. They are not part of us. They are not the protesters.
Some, however, appeal to Nigerians to be patient with the president to solve the challenges facing the country.
Yeah, so of course, reactions. And of course, a lot of Nigerians are reacting to that very belated speech. Up to today, protesters are on their numbers in the streets. Kudos to the people who are doing this very peaceful protest across Nigeria. And of course, ourselves too, that are also joining on the protest peacefully, lending our voice to the harsh economic policies of Chief Bola Tinubu. Now, to Mr. Tony, your reaction, of course, I know things are getting so hard and you guys are also doing the protest peacefully, I'll bet. Tell us how is it over there, your reaction to Chief Bola Tinubu's speech?
To Chief Kanu and our listeners and Zoom participants and the studio team. This is a speech that actually be thrown studio. So standing and everybody that I have read from or seen on television, every one of them has actually condemned the speech as not being enough, as not being responsive to the demands of the protesters. And let me say, my own opinion is that the speech resembles somebody who was pushed, hounded into and forced to make a speech. He wasn't willing to do that, and you can see from the speech. The speech is lame. Nothing really shows that he has empathy for Nigerians. And I ask myself, I should not be surprised. Do you know any drug dealer? The way they do things, people used to say that somebody who is hard-hearted, that the heart is at his back or her back. That means the person is mean-spirited, is capable of doing anything, doesn't care, doesn't give a hoot about human life. This is what we're seeing. How can, in God's name, a country such as this, after all the alarm, the time frame given by the organizers of the protest, that we're going to do this protest from this time to this time, he never cared to plan for it. He never cared to give a news conference where reporters can ask questions. It's not coming out to read what has been written for him without any emotions at all in it. The right thing to do is to sit down with reporters and let them ask questions. Let them ask him meaningful questions concerning Nigerians demonstrating in the streets. But he refused, just like he refused to debate during the last election. He's afraid because I don't think he has something to offer Nigerians. How can he offer anything meaningful when he stole the election, he bought the election. How do you think he can care what you say or what you feel? Because he knows the way he came to that seat, and he's going to do it again. This is just a reminder. So, Nigerians, I wish those people with public platforms can come out and support Nigerians. They should not keep quiet. They should not keep quiet. This is supposed to be, now that we know where he is going, this is supposed to be a protest that everybody capable should come out and participate. Because if this protest fails to achieve the goals of the youth, we are done. Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, is finished. So let's continue to make our demands.
All right. Thank you, Tony. We'll continue to make our...
And even at that, the protest thing should now change. Hunger Day, Tinubu, Akpabio, and Shetima, and their Senate, they should all go. They should all go, because they are the ones advising him, they are the ones talking to him, and they don't know what they are doing. So they should all go. Thank you.
And let me just quickly
on this your last words. Let me quickly tell you that they keep saying that Nigeria is over 200 million people. If we check what is happening across the country, I will tell you that about 10% of Nigerians, or less than 10% of Nigerians, are on the street. And if we have probably 20% or even 30% of Nigerians are on the streets, I think Chief Bola Tinubu will have to address the nation the way he should. Or don't you think so? Your final words, please.
Absolutely. I believe that can actually help, because if you see what's happening in I think it's Venezuela right now.
Venezuela.
Yeah, where the residents of the country, they all came out. They came out, and where's that woman now? She actually had to flee the country and resigned. She resigned. So I think that is what we need in Nigeria, and that is what we should pursue right now. Because this guy and his cabinet, they don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know what they're doing.
And I think the best way to get rid of these people is to have a very strong electoral reform that will close the loopholes.
They will still corrupt them.
Corruption is the bane of the country. It's killing us. Corruption is at the top. Should be at the top of the agenda.
I think what is happening now is that it is important to draw the attention of the government, just like the Kenyans did, the Kenyatas did. By the time we draw the attention and he is subjected to it, then there are other demands, because the INEC Professor Mahmoud, that man must go.
Reverend, you can only draw the attention of the government that has sense. A government that has no sense, government that has no meaning to whatever you're saying, they don't listen to anything. So they have to face them out.
That is a human being. When he begins to hot, the more it gets hotter, there's an English word that says the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. So whether you like it or not, as you are going higher, it must be cold. So when it gets hotter, it must respond. Because this man knows vividly that he was not... Okay, look at Soyinka. Soyinka has started to turn against him, because he has discovered that the man is nothing but a don't. He has no agenda.
Guys. Thank you so much for your contribution to all of this, Reverend Pete.
Thank you. And also, Tony, thank you so much for joining us at this very hour, and Lord Kingsley. Let's quickly come back to the studio. Mercy, your final words on this. We have over 200 million Nigerians, and of course, we're seeing less than 10% on the streets. Ideally, if you say we have between 30 and 50% of Nigerians who are economically impoverished right now, seeing the harsh economic realities on ground, talking about the inflation, talking about the food scarcity so much and the insecurity in the land, that would have pushed at least 30%. Assuming 30% of Nigerians come out in the street to voice out these very harsh policies of Bola Tinubu, don't you think that, of course, he will address Nigeria in a proper way?
Yeah, I think he will, because by the time at least 30% mount the streets, I think the government will know that Nigerians are really serious. When we are saying that the government is not treating us fine and the economy is bad, but then during the protest we just have 10% or even less than 10% of the citizens on the streets, then it appears that Nigerians are not serious. It appears that maybe this hunger it has not really gotten to everyone, but we Nigerians, we know that the situation in this country is actually bad, and this is more reason at least 30%. Let's make it at least 30% of us mount the streets and let the government know that enough is enough, and let them give us a change.
Yes, and a peaceful protest is what we all advocate. Peaceful protest for all Nigerians, wherever you are. For those of you who are whether less than 10% being on the street, protesting peacefully, may the Lord guide you and be by your side. And of course, on each day we'll go through the protest, and then we'll come back here to give you the analysis of what has happened and the reaction of Nigerians. So we encourage all Nigerians, whether you are a farmer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, whatever is your profession, do come out and join a peaceful protest, a peaceful procession where we can articulate our demands to the government so that the Bola Tinubu's administration will hear Nigerians. They say he's disconnected with realities on ground, and of course we believe he is. The speech he gave yesterday, though belated, is clear indication that Bola Tinubu is really not with the realities of the harsh condition in Nigeria. And we don't have enough time to talk more about this, but tomorrow we'll be bringing you the tidbits and of course the recap of all what has transpired on Protest Day 5. Thank you so much for being with us today. Until tomorrow when we come your way again. Bye for now.